Buonasera a tutti. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We got some live action on your way, which is a great pleasure after a long time for a lifetime. My paisan, Mr. Anthony Tremboli in the house, as known as Tony Trim, part of the AJC as well. How's it going, my friend?
Doing good. Doing good for a Thursday night. As you know, it's been quite the weather here in Toronto. We got quite a bit of snow, so it's been interesting. But yeah, no, pleasure to be back. I know it's been a while. We haven't done it, so it's nice to get back in with you. And obviously, as you always say, there's always lots to talk about. So I'm sure we're gonna have a fun one tonight. So look forward to it.
Well, we're going to have lots of fun, of course, when it comes to Juventus. There's always lots to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But then I say my piece to the fellow Milanisti because they're driving me nuts about this weekend's game. They will catch up a little bit. My thoughts about Atalanta. And of course, the big game, as I always call it, the main event of WrestleMania, Juventus Inter. How you feel about that, Rimboy?
Oh, well, you mentioned main event. I think of like The Rock versus Stone Cold. That's like what I get when that's the feeling I get when I see Juve enter. So
Oh, yeah. So you feel
it's
like me.
yeah, it's gonna be a big one, that's for sure. So if it plays out the way it did like in the first game, then
It
should be
should be
pretty
good.
fun.
Yeah, well, let's wait until we'll cover that later. Before everything, guys, put a beautiful like and subscribe. You guys know where to find me on YouTube, of course, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, which I reach over 1,000 on Instagram. I'm pretty surprised, but thank you. And
Nice.
with YouTube, ragazzi, please let's share. Let's pull up these subscriptions and make it. Let's make it worldwide. Calcio with Rino Z. E che cazzo.
Yeah.
Before I continue, we got some people in the chat. Melon Reno, we got Raf. Fix your intro, man. Why you always have to complain? This is my new intro. Like, come on, bro. Last time you said it was too long. I made it short. I gotta fix it. I'm leaving it the way it is. Se non ti sta bene, a casa. Atalanta, Inter, merda. Ok, anche Milan. Melon, Trim, is Sev your best friend? Of course. Severino.
Well, I don't know if he's my best friend, but he's definitely one of my boys, that's for sure.
Hey, because they go back and forth on the Juve corner cast with
Oh,
Severino.
I know. Believe
So
me, I see.
you
I
seen
get
it.
to, I don't see it always live in action, because sometimes I miss them, but I do watch them on the replays a lot, and I always have a good laugh watching
Oh,
the chat replay. So it's pretty funny, but yeah,
Seth is universally loved. He
yeah.
is. So we're gonna start off to talk about our lovely Juventus. Um, Juventus 2 and PSV 1. So far, as I said, the title, Juventus is the only team that wins the only Italian team that wins the playoffs of this so-called playoffs of Champions League. My thoughts about this game. I'll keep it short and sweet. You know, happy about the 3 points. Yes, 2-1. A beautiful goal from McKennie. And the last one was from, correct, I can remember.
And Bangula.
Oh, Mbangula, yes, that was
Yeah,
a beauty. So sometimes I forget, but then I'll
yeah.
say my piece about Mbangula. But the beauty about this game is the grinta. Like everybody put all their grinta. Gatti, for me, he was pretty good. I don't know why people don't like Gatti. They say he's a mediocre player whatsoever, but he puts heart. You know, I'm not saying he's a top player, but for what we need, that kid, he puts his heart in. He gave a nice assist to McKinney, which that goal was like beautiful, unexpected. But then at the second half, I wasn't too happy about Perisic that scored. Like through all people, which I did not know that Perisic was playing with PSV. It should have one of them at Juventus after Inter, but you know. But then at close to the end, I can't say it was this Catenaccio style. Like, it was a little bit different than the Como game because I think me and you agree about the Como game. Me and you talk about it. It wasn't a game that we can open a bottle of champagne. I don't think even this game we can open a bottle of champagne, if you ask me. But happy to see this kid Mbangula score, and he even said a nice comment at the end, which I really liked it. Yes, it's my first Champions League goal, but the game itself we should do better, and that's why I like part of these young kids putting the green. The changes, I kind of liked them compared to the last game. Mota in this department, he did pretty good. But just the last one with Vlahovic, taking him off at taking Kolumani off at the 80 man. I'm not really. You should have kept Kolumani. I know everybody wants to see Kolumani and Vlahovic, but this guy, as I call him, Mortadella, is hard headed, like someone we had last year. So I don't know, but the game itself is okay. I'm not saying that as it best. All I wanted that we gotta beat them next week. I know last time we beat them fair and square, beautiful. We had Bremer last that one was on September, so it was a different Juve compared to now. We have Vega. I know Vega was cheering. I know people. Let's calm down because yes, he's cheering, he's showing the grinta, but you never know. He's still on loan, so let's not get too hard. But it's good to see that, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So, Mr. Tremblay, I'll let you go, and then I will see what the chat has to say. And we'll move
Yeah,
on.
so
Ask questions.
I was fortunate enough to be able to catch the game because obviously I'm working when the games are on, but was a little bit slower that day. I was able to get out of work at a good time and get to the fan club here in Toronto to go and watch it. So um, early thoughts were, great first half. This team is interesting because they're so up and down. It's either we come out sleeping in the first half, we get punched in the face, they score first, the other team, and then it's like kind of wakes us up and we come out in the second half and play better. Lately, it's been the opposite. We come out in the first half, play well, maybe get one early, hang on to a lead, go into the second half. Coming back from the second half, it's like we're asleep at the wheel. Nobody knows what's going on. It's like we forget how to play. You give one up. Give one up to PSV and a really bad defensive lapse by Kelly. I personally didn't
Yes, I
think he
forgot.
played a bad game. I actually thought he played pretty well considering, again, second game with the team. It's only been around the club for about a week and a half, let's say. But on that play to Perisic, like you see him clearly about to get the ball and Kelly's standing there and he hesitates. He allows Perisic to bring the ball down. That's his first mistake. Then his second mistake was, for whatever reason, his back was turned towards Perisic, allowing Perisic to cut in, and he took the shot. And it's like,
Yeah, I forgot about that, but
you have to, as a defender, you have to anticipate that, or you have to at least try to, you might still get beat, but you have to actually put an effort to try to get the ball or take the man. But unfortunately, for him, it didn't look good. But the majority of the game, there was a couple of plays where he stopped two clear-cut counterattacks by PSV. And one of them, he hustled back really well, came back, won the ball clean on a tackle, and we ended up counterattacking the other way. So, again, it's what you're going to get with a guy that's just kind of joining the team now. It's going to take him some time. I don't think he's going to be anything special per se, but, he has a job to do. He's quick. He's tall. Just got to keep it simple and keep putting in that effort. And, don't afraid to make mistakes, because if you're afraid to make mistakes, that's when you make them. That's the thing, right? It's going to happen. It's part of the game. So, but overall, like I said, as a whole, it was a really sleepy second half. First half was great. Obviously, great goal by Weston, and we were fortunate enough to get the second one with Mbangula. But in terms of like the substitutions or the formation, going into the game initially, I wasn't really crazy about Weston McKennie playing as the 10, the central midfielder. I would have preferred to see him slot in maybe at the left back position and have Way on the right side, Vega and Gatti. So then maybe Kelly would kind of be on the bench as a sub. And I would have liked to see Yildiz, because I've been saying this for a long time. A lot of us have, like, putting Yildiz in the middle as the 10 would be a lot better, because you see when he plays on either the right or the left side, he stays attached to that wing. And it happened a lot with another player that used to play for us last year in Federico Chiesa, and it's reminding me a lot of that. Like Chiesa always hugged the touchline. He was never really cutting in as much as he could. When he did, he was more dangerous. So, but they're different players. Obviously, one's a winger, and for me, Yildiz is not a winger. He should be playing as a 10. He's more of a playmaker, likes to drift into the middle, control the ball, distribute. So that's what I would have liked to see. That being said, McKennie played a really strong game, and he's slowly becoming, and I've been saying it even from the beginning of the season, he's slowly becoming one of my favorite players on this current squad. I never thought I'd say this if this was, you're talking to Trim last year watching Juve.
No, I'm
He
with
wasn't on
you.
the team. He was loaned out. I wasn't really crazy about him, right? But he's worked hard. He's proved to be one of the main guys that wants to be here, and he's working his ass off, and it's showing, and it's paid off, and he's getting rewarded for his hard work. So got to give him credit. And he's been one of those guys where you can put him anywhere on the field, and he's played pretty well. So yeah, to wrap it up in conclusion, it's nice that obviously they got the win, and going into the second leg next week, it's going to be crucial. Prior to this fixture, I did say on our channel at the AJC, I did say I don't think we're going through. I was not confident, but it was just based on our recent run of form. Right now, we've run off 3 wins in a row, so it's looking good in terms of the wins. How they get the wins, you could debate, but I started to change my mind as we got right up on game day, and I said, okay, I think they're gonna win the first leg and they'll draw the second leg, so that'll be enough to get them through. So we'll see. But again, this team and this season, I think, has shown all of us, Juventini, that we can't be too confident about anything because we don't know what we're going to get. So these games recently, and this one in particular, is just another kind of microcosm of the season overall. It's very up and down, and I guess that's what you expect with the first-year coach, right? I had high hopes for Motta.
Well, me and you, we both had high hopes because we both wanted Allegri out. And what you just said, bro, I'm with you all the way because we don't know what we expect with this team. And I said it too, even on my chats, on my videos. The same thing like you just said, that we might lose with PSG. We may not go through because I'm not too confident. Now, after this win, maybe a little bit, because for me, Champions League is everything. If we don't make it through, I'll lose it, But I don't know, man. There has been surprises, like you just said, and most Juventini out there about McKennie. He's the one that plays with heart. People don't like, what's his name, Gatti, but at least Gatti, I even said it on your channel, which someone that we know always complains about this famous Gatti, Mr. RB Combs, but at least he puts the effort. He's not a top quality whatsoever. And these changes, I don't know. Ilditz, everybody says he has to be on the 10, but I don't know why he puts him on the 10. He had a good first half. Then he switched with Conceição. I don't know why. Maybe to keep him to the Inter game, which Conceição did pretty well. I hope he can score on the Inter game. But besides that, Koeman, what are your thoughts about Koeman? I know you have big thoughts on Koeman. You still want to give him a chance? I'll give him a chance, but I don't know. Hopefully see something better close to the end of the season.
Yeah, what I would say is I'm definitely not blind, and I see the way he's playing, and I understand the frustration with him. I just feel that a player of that caliber, kind of like Douglas Luiz, which we can get into a little bit of Douglas Luiz as well, because he played excellent against PSV. That was probably his best. That was probably his best match. So the problem with Coop Miners right now, I feel, is that he's coming to a new team with a new system. Everybody's kind of hyping up the fact that, Atalanta's system is what put him up here, and that, that's the only reason why he was good, was because of Atalanta's system. I don't buy that. I think that there is a good player there. It could just be the fact that he's moved to a new team. It's a lot more pressure on him because he wants to be here. He wants to perform at Juve. If he didn't, he wouldn't be here. And I think a lot of it too is based on the way that the coach is using him. Or is he not using him in the right positions? I know you've talked about it numerous times. I've seen your lives recently and your videos always
Thank
outlining
you.
like your thoughts on it, right? So for me,
Well, it's even the pressure, I think, with Coop.
yes, and
It's a
that's what I
big
mean. Like
difference.
being at a big club for sure, it's definitely there. But like I said, the guy, the legs just don't fall off like that. Like it's impossible. Even for Douglas Luiz, it's the same thing. Everybody was crying and complaining about him. I was saying too, like, it's not looking
See,
good. He's struggling, but give these guys time to settle in, you know, and especially with Coop Miners. I think for me personally, he will come good. It's just it might take maybe a full season. If that's what it takes, and we see a completely different player next year, then that's what it takes, right? But I think towards the end of the year, he'll start to play better. I'll admit, though, in the PSV game, yeah, he kind of looked really slow and almost like really late to react to certain situations. There was at one point after the Perisic
yeah,
goal, they had it on that side, and he was just kind of standing there, and he was the closest man to the attacking player with the ball, which was Perisic, and he kind of just stood there. He didn't really run at him. He didn't know what to do. It's almost like he was a deer in the headlights. And I remember saying it to the guys I was watching with him, like it's just lack of confidence. And I think the biggest thing with
probably.
him is once he gets another goal or he contributes in a way getting an assist or something, like you'll see he'll start to pick it up. But it's up to the manager to get the best out of this team in general and these players. And for me, overall, yes, the players play on the field, so they have to take responsibility. But I think personally, Motta has come short in general overall. Because for me, it's not the same coach that we saw at Bologna last year. And there can be many reasons for that. I know you've touched on it before, and I remember we kind of disagreed about this in the summer, and now I've changed
Yes,
my opinion about maybe the
I will
spotlight is
cover
too
that.
big. Maybe the spotlight is too big for him, right? And
Yes,
truly felt, he's an Interista. He won the tripleta with Inter as a player. He's played at big clubs. You would think he shouldn't
that
feel
he
this
will.
pressure, but sometimes it happens, right? So maybe, like I said, even for a guy like Mota, maybe it'll just take a little bit more time to settle in, and we'll see. But the thing is, we can't afford the luxury of time. Like we need wins now. We need to finish in a Champions League spot because we need that money. And if we don't get there, there's going to be hell to pay all around. So
Yes, spot on. Let's just go through some comments about Coop. We got Millen says Coop has the same problem with Moto, going from a tiny club to a huge one, and then not taking that jump well. Then we have Mirko. I kind of happy of Coop's performance so far because we had some problem with Platinci done Nedved. True. Like I said, I'm gonna give him time, but people complain about this guy because we pay 60 million. Well, if next year it happens that he's a flop, like what's happened to some players that we know, then we can judge. But I'll give him time. Then we got Anthony. For you guys, I think Coop is trying to get used to playing at a club like Juventus, correct? And where there's more pressure than Atalanta. Very true.
yeah, that I
Then
agree too.
Mr. Paco, Pascual, is it me or Douglas Lewis pick up the pace? We just said yes. I'll still take my time because this is the first time seeing Douglas Lewis did a good game. Still time, but he has to be, like your cousin says, Mateo, he has to be consistent.
Yeah.
So let's give a shout out to Mirko because he said something funny. Where is it? The title of this live scared me. I hope we won't the only team go out. Well, I hope not too, but hey, I gotta make it funny on my titles. So you were talking about Mota, and I know you touch on what I said in the summer that you disagree. Okay, maybe sometimes I can be harsh because it was the friendly game. You know, I did not hope that was going to happen, but with these small team games, you see him that can handle it. Yes, we were happy with Como at the beginning, PSV. Then that switch that happened with Leipzig.
Yeah.
But the games go on and on. And now we're saying every time the same thing. Yeah. Like, are we watching Allegri here? like the games seem like kind of like the same. And then you said at the first step, which I forgot to say, it was so. It's I don't see this change. Like we were all happy with Bologna, then all of a sudden, and he has the players. It's not like he doesn't have the players. And Romeo Agresti said, like he just said it too right now, that a guy like him that played with the top teams, win the triplete with Inter, PSG, whatsoever, he should manage. I don't know what this multi. I've been calling him mortadella recently. I'm not saying multi out. I'm kind of close. We'll see how far I can handle my pressure. But he needs to figure out. And we were complaining about Allegri last year that he didn't do the changes, but not even this guy. It's still the same 4-3-2-1. So then, in Allegri's case, he says that he didn't have the players, which we can sit there and say, okay, correct. But this guy has the players. So I don't know what to say. What about you, Trimbley?
Well,
You just
no,
have
yeah,
to wish for the best, I guess.
well, you hit the nail on the head. Like that's what's been most disappointing for me is that he's at Juventus with a better squad, roster wise, like player wise, he's got
Yes.
better players at his disposal. And the job of any manager, big, small, doesn't matter. The manager is supposed to get the best out of the players, right? Obviously, like I said, the players are the ones that ultimately go out onto the field and have to dictate it, right? To dictate the manager's game plan, but for me, I just feel like I said, I jokingly say to the guys on our show, I'm like, it's like we got a fake Motta. It's an imposter. It's not the real guy. Because if you look at the
Yeah,
way Bologna played last year, it's like night and day. And I wonder and I feel like he's playing scared, like safe. Like he doesn't want to lose. He's scared to lose. So they
that's what
get
I feel.
a goal and they kind of start to sit back instead of pressing. Like actually in the PSV game, but again, it was only in the first half. They got the first goal and then they kept pressing and they kept pressing. And I was getting excited because I was saying to the guys I was watching with, I'm like, for once we're finally pushing. We're trying to attack. We're trying to get the ball back and trying to score again, which is good. But then, like I said, they go into the half, they go into the dressing room, and it's like, I don't know what he said to them because then they come out and they're asleep at the wheel and it's completely different. So consistency is the biggest thing. They have not been
Yes.
consistent at all throughout the year. We could argue, like you said, the first maybe 3 games, Verona, Como, and I forget who the third game was, but those are the only 3 games at the beginning of, and that was end of August and then beginning in September, right? Going into the
September.
PSV game, the first game in Champions League, like. But since then, they have not been consistent, and we can't blame Bremer's injury. You can't blame it on anything else. Yes, again, some players, poor performances here and there. But as an overall, I feel like it's too safe. It's afraid to lose. So that's why, draw Ventus. That's why we keep drawing, and we have one loss.
Arrejentuvus, like I
Yeah.
said.
So for me, that's the biggest thing. And again, I guess, you can chalk it up to, okay, he's at a big club now. So maybe it's, nerves but still, like, there's no excuses. Like, you have a $200 million budget, right? Or we spent
Okay.
200 million this offseason, right? So you have better players. You got to really get the best out of them. And it's simple little tweaks that he can make that I think would make a big difference. For example, playing Coop as a pivot in a number 8 position. So playing him next to Locatelli or Turam, putting Yildiz in the number 10. You have Consensao, you have Mbangula, you have Wea, you have who else on that side? Like you have 4 wingers that you. Oh, Nico Gonzalez. You have 4 wingers
Nico
you can play.
Gonzalez, yeah.
You don't have to use Yildiz as a winger. Yes, right now he's using Wea as a right back, which I also do really like. I think he has a lot to offer there. But my point is that you don't have to stick Yildiz on a wing. Even though you have Coop Miners, even though you have Douglas Luiz, even though you have Turam, Locatelli, you can manage those guys in and out between the 2 pivots, and then the odd time, for example, on Sunday against Inter, maybe you put Douglas Luiz at the 10, move him higher up to see, because he's very good at
Do a
passing
little
and he's very good at
change.
controlling the ball. He's been playing the best he's been playing all year so far. Maybe you give him a chance to say, you know what? Coop Miners start on the bench, Locatelli and Thuram in the pivot, and you put Luiz at the 10, right? Like, he's got options. That's the thing. You just got to try to pull the right strings.
You nailed it about consistency. for me, when it comes to consistency, I always say repetition is a mother of skill. You don't do things repeatedly, but you do things consistently. In our problem with Juventus, we keep on doing the same porqueria, repeating the same mistakes. Now we're talking about Coop Miners, put him at the 10, and we only see Coop Miners with the two pivot with Coppa Italia. I know you said about the 4-3-3, which I am kind of concerned with 4-3-3, but if we have to do this change, I don't know, against Inter, why not? But like Mirko is saying, I know you don't like Allegri anymore, but with this team, he was on top right now. We all know that, but I don't want Allegri back. But realistically speaking, do you believe with this team Allegri could be top, winning the Scudetto? I don't know. Maybe on
It's
top, second place,
it's
maybe.
really hard to say. Unfortunately, I understand why everybody says that because he didn't have the players last year. But come on, 2 years ago we had
Years ago,
Pogba.
yeah.
2 years ago we had Di Maria. Like we had all these
Paredes,
guys,
all the
like,
players that he wanted.
and it didn't translate, right? So again, I understand Coop Miners, Douglas Luiz, Thuram, like better quality overall. But it's hard to say because for me it would depend on
We don't know.
what would the formation be if he plays a 3-5-2. I know
Yeah, exactly.
a lot of people have been actually saying that Mota should go to a 3-5-2 even right
I
now.
never seen him do that. We'll see.
He doesn't want to play that way. That's the thing. And me personally, with the players we have, you need to use, for me, you need to use 4 at the back and at least 3 midfielders there.
Yeah.
In the middle. And that's why, like, on paper, it's a 4-2-3-1. But during the game, it's switching. Like, he can switch, and you'll have 2 wingers up top with the striker, Kolo Muani or Vlahovic, and it actually turns into a 4-3-3, right? It depends on who you play. So now, on Sunday, when we play Inter, they play 3-5-2. You have to be careful with Dumfries on one side. DiMarco is questionable. So he might not play.
He's dangerous.
But let's see. If either way, if he's playing, you got to watch both sides. So in that match, I wouldn't play a 3-5-2. Like, I'd rather
4-3-3 maybe. Give it a try. Maybe second half.
Yeah, like it's gonna end up still being a 4-2-3-1, but the game is gonna be dictated by the midfield. They have Barella, they have Çalhanoğlu, they have Zielinski, they have Fratesi. We have to shut down the midfield. They need strength and size. They need Thuram in there, you need Locatelli, but at the 10, you need a playmaker to try to break up from the defensive side to move it forward to get your chance for counterattacks, because Inter's going to want to sit back and hit us on the counter. But the thing is, we got to really be strong in the middle and hold it down. So that's why I think Loca and Thuram should start. Keep Coop Miners on the bench and put Luiz maybe at the 10 or Yildiz. But he's been reluctant with Yildiz.
Yeah, he said, are we going to have Cambiaso and Kalulu versus Intermerda? I think so on the bench, I heard.
Cambiaso is going to be game time decision. Kalulu, I think, is still out. Kalulu maybe PSV.
But Cambiaso, yes.
Cambiaso maybe. Yeah, he's trying to come back. But I would say, I think it's safe to say they're both going to be back for PSV, but not for Inter. But we'll see. You never know. Maybe a surprise.
We got Mr. Pasquale. You can't expect fireworks from Juve after they get Piazza Pulita. Nobody's expecting fireworks. We never expect the Scudetto, Mr. Pasquale. I told you 1,000 times. But at least to play. It's okay, Auntie. It's not the end of the world. But at least play better and stay on the top 4, Pasquale. Come on. Paisa. Fanavogi Brav. Then we got Melon. Motta's a puppet and a pawn of Giuntoli. He has no idea how to manage or raise moral. True. I don't know what to say. I know a lot of people are not happy with Giuntoli, but guys, we have to wait and see. We'll catch on Giuntoli Elkan after if we have time.
Yeah.
Who is apologizing to Mr. McKennie these days? I never said anything bad about Mr. McKennie. You
Well,
Tremble?
I didn't say anything bad per se, but I definitely said he's not my favorite player. But yeah, no, I've already said in this earlier in the live that yeah,
Yeah, he
he's
just
quickly
joined. Yeah.
become one of my favorites because he's surprised me a lot. So he's shown his versatility. He asked for more money. To be fair, he did in the summer, and we were looking to move
But
him.
now
It
he's
didn't work out.
proven.
But now exactly. So he went out on the field and he's proven it. So you can't really say much. Just gotta appreciate it. That's it.
Yeah. We have a fellow Interista here, which he's a big fan of yours. Mario
Oh,
Potesio, Fireworks in Genoa. Mario, I'm still mad at you because you said you're going to beat us on Sunday. Get prepared. If we win, fate segnare la croce. Sempre Inter merda e io godo. Let's hope.
yeah,
He's one funny guy.
it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be a tough
It
one
is.
Sunday. But
We'll wait and see. You have anything else to touch on Juventus besides what we just said?
um, no,
Vlahovic, Kolumani,
I think we
just leave
covered
it.
pretty much everything. But yeah, no, other than that, like I know we were talking about in the green room, a lot of people were saying about playing Kolomuani and Vlahovic together. And again, yes, the idea behind it would be great, especially because Kolo can drop back. He can play anywhere. He doesn't have to like if Vlahovic comes on the field, he doesn't have to play the two of them up top. He can play Kolomuani on the wing or at the 10 because he's played there before. But for me, Mota doesn't seem like the type of guy who wants to play two strikers, which
Hmm,
I think the main reason is because Milik is hurt. If they had a third guy, he wouldn't hesitate.
maybe.
That's the biggest thing for me. But again, it's not an excuse. He should still try it, especially in the last game when you're down or well, you're up one. The PSV ties the game, and instead of keeping Kolomwani on, he takes him off and puts Vlahovic, and they end up getting one back. But for me, it wouldn't hurt to try the two of them up top. Gives you
What
a
are your
different
thoughts?
different look.
Sorry. Okay. What are your thoughts about Kolo Punani? Because you weren't happy at the beginning. Do you like him or?
Yeah. So yeah, full disclosure, I was not super. How do you say? I was not super excited to get him.
Excited.
I was kind
Okay.
of just like, okay, it's a name. We'll see. But he didn't really do much at PSG. Again, it doesn't mean that he's not going to be good here because as we're seeing, he comes here and it's like a breath of fresh air for him, right? A new change of scenery. Maybe he
Yeah.
enjoys the system. He's the one thing with him that's impressed me the most is I didn't realize how physically strong he is, and that's where I think he's
Yes.
really showing his worth is that he's able to fight off defenders, keep the ball, something that Vlahovic, for his size, which doesn't make sense, he struggles with it. I don't know why. He's a big
Yeah.
guy. He can keep the contact in there, manage to keep the ball, but Colo makes it look effortless. So I jokingly call him Punani, as you know. I say that because
Yeah.
I was
You
saying
didn't want him.
it can go either way. It
Wait.
can be
But we'll
really
see.
good or it can be really bad. Right now, fantastic. No complaints. So just
It's kind of
keep it up.
like with Marcus Thuram when he joined Inter, a different ball game. So that's why
Yep.
I said Kolumani because I saw him, the national team. That's why I liked him. At PSG, I barely follow. So
Yeah.
and to close Juventus without busting your chops. What about Vlahovic? You still give him a chance in the summer or get rid of him?
No, in the summer, no. And don't worry, it's not busting my chops because I think we can all agree it's time. It's time for a change for him. For him especially, like I think he needs it more than the team, to be honest, because the team they can find somebody else, they can move on. We found Kolomuani, like you know what I mean. So
Yeah,
I think it's more
yeah,
for him, the player. He needs a reset. Um,
yeah.
and I'm
Like
totally fine with him going in the
leaving
summer. Now, if you ask me or were to say how much do you think we'll get for him, that's where it's interesting because
the money.
they paid 70. They're not getting 70. They're not even going to get 50.
No,
Like
maybe 30, 40.
I think we're lucky to get 40. I think 40 is a good number. Like I think if you get 40, Juventus is happy. Because again, he has got one more year of contract. His salary is 12 million. You have to find a team that's willing to pay him his salary. That's the other problem. He might not be able to like there might not be a team out there that actually wants to pay him 12 million. If that's the case, he's staying and he runs out his contract, right? So
Pasquale, why you gotta do this to me? Why you say this? We're gonna sell him. He doesn't want to accept his low salary. He doesn't want to stay at Juventus because it seems like he's not happy. And you come up with these things. Paisa, per favor. Can you answer this simply?
you
Sorry,
know
I
why
kind
he's
of.
saying it though? You know why he's saying it though? I understand. It's because he exactly what I said. It's not because Juventus can't sell him because they don't want to sell him, or it's more the salary is the problem. If Juve doesn't want to pay him 12 million, they have to find a team that's willing to pay him his salary or someone that's willing to meet his demands, right? So for me, it's going to depend on, is there going to be someone in the Premier League that wants him? I don't know. We got to
Yeah.
see what's going on. Like I know, we used to joke a couple years ago about Arsenal. Arsenal made an offer. Arsenal wants him. Arsenal wants him. Huh. Well, maybe we should have thought about it then, right? Now
Well,
looking
it
back,
seems like
right?
they still want him, but we'll wait and see. I
The
hope
thing is,
for the better.
for me, Arsenal now, there's been other players they're talking about. Benjamin Šeško is on their list.
That's the
Alexander
guy I want.
Alexander Isak from Newcastle is another guy they're looking at. So this is the thing. They're looking at other options. But yeah, like he's saying, though, it's true. If Juventus can't sell him, he's playing next year and he's going to leave for free. That's it. Like they have no choice, right? So we just have to hope
If
that,
that's the case,
yeah,
whatever. For me, you know my thoughts. I want
yeah.
him out.
But that's why
So
too, Reno, we were saying he has to play now and he has to
yeah,
play well. If he plays and he plays well, it's better for Juve and it's better for him because Juve can actually then sell him. You can't sell him right now if he stays on the bench and he doesn't play well. That's the problem, right?
I understand where you come from. That's the only thing I like about Mota. If you piss him off, you're on the bench. I'm pretty
Right.
sure he might play him because you
Yep.
cannot keep that guy on the bench if you want to sell him. But wait and see. I have
Yeah.
no
We'll
idea.
see. We'll
But
see what happens.
well,
But like,
let's hope for the better.
yeah, exactly.
Then talk about Junta. It's not Junta. It's not Mota or not the players. It's Elkan the problem. We need a real Juventus blood for president. I know we agree on this, Mirko. I said it so many times. I'm praying for Agnelli. So spot on that. Then we got Mr. Pasquale. My pronostico, Juve Inter 1-1. 2-1 for Lazio Napoli. Okay, I trust you on that one.
Ooh, the second one would kill me. Lazio beat Napoli. We
Yeah,
can't
that's
have
gonna
that.
kill us. That's benefiting him, so he could stay top, first place. The last game was exciting 4-4, lots of goals. Okay, this one would like Conte back. If we have no options, I will love Conte back. To be honest, I know I don't like Ministri Scaldad, but me personally, I will love him back. You, Tony? No.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I was wrong in the summer. I didn't want him. I said no. I don't want
Okay.
him to come. I wanted Motta, and I'm admitting I'm wrong. If we had Conte, but the problem with Conte is like I said in the summer, the reason I didn't want him is I want something
New. We'll see. I
not
didn't want him either.
not even new and not even long term, because that's the other problem. We hear this word project. It's banned on our channel. I can't say it, project. Otherwise Alberto's going to kill me. So when you say project, everybody thinks 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. With Conte, 2 years, that's it. He's going to leave. So it's like, would I want him in the situation we're in now? Of course, because we would be close to first or second place. But we'd maybe win one title, maybe, and then he would leave after the second year. That's the problem. That's why I didn't want him. But we'll see.
We don't know. We got our boys here, Mr. Severino. Hi, my name is Sev. Can we get Zagrova? Sev, look at the comments. Mellon was making fun of you. Give him a hard time. Then we got Mr. Juve Cornercast. Ciao, boys. Grande Gio. What's happening?
What's going on?
Then we have Paco says, you will get Mancini after Mota. That's what I heard too. I wouldn't mind him. But
I don't know. I worry about Mancini.
You worry about
Mancini? The Euro was nice, but I don't know.
with Juve.
Something
Mm,
scares me about him.
mm. Well, if they give him a project and the players he wants, I think he can do a good job.
Yeah,
Then I could
maybe.
be
I
wrong. I could be wrong. For
see.
me, Gasperini. Gasperini is not going to leave
So
Atalanta.
what's really funny too is I wish we could go back and pull up some of the old videos that we did and stuff from last summer because
I should check.
I remember I said Mota number one. He was my number one. But you know who was my number two? We're not going to get him now because he's lights out. Palladino.
Yes, a lot of people have been saying it.
He was the guy that I was like, Juventino, knows the club, familiar with the club.
But he's a young coach too. Can he handle the pressure?
That's the
Right?
thing. Fiorentina, it's a little bit of a step from Monza, like a lot higher than Monza. But my point
Higher,
is
yeah.
it's not Juve, it's not Inter, it's not Milan, right? So
I wish Ancelotti, but no.
Ancelotti would be nice, but I think he's gonna end up staying there in Madrid, but who knows? We'll see.
Klopp is my dream. You can tell Trembly. I will
Yeah,
love to see Klopp.
yeah.
Who
Klopp.
is this guy, Trembly? He knows he's shit, but never heard of him. Okay, you said the same thing about Alberto last time. Moving on, we'll touch on Juventus later. I just want to close up with the Champions League about this game. Club
Mm,
Brugge 2 and Atalanta 1. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. For me, Club Brugge did not deserve to win because that call with the ref, that was really painful. I know a lot of people attacked me on my video because when I put undeserved win, even 2 years ago, Inter win undeservedly. Now I said the
mm,
same thing with Club Brugge. People attacked me. I said, listen, yes, Club Brugge 60% of the time were better than Atalanta whatsoever. But I think Atalanta without that PK, that was a complete bullshit PK. Even today with Roma, Ranieri complained about the ref. Ranieri. And their luck with Club Brugge because we gave them the tie too because we stink at that game. And now they get a gifted from Atalanta. I don't know. For me, this was pathetic. Atalanta, I know they missed their player whatsoever. It could have been a tie. I hope Atalanta smashed them. As I'm talking as a sportivo wise, because we want the fifth spot Champions League. Because if Atalanta, Milan, or Juventus don't go through, no fifth spot, and it's gonna be tough for us, Milan, and whoever's underneath the top four. Have you watched this game, or did you see where I'm coming from with the referee and Compagnia Bell?
So I didn't watch the game, unfortunately. I was working, but I did see the PK. The
Mm-hmm.
thing for me though is that wouldn't have mattered if Atalanta played like they're supposed to play. The beginning of the game, like Mirko's saying, it was not good. They went down
Yeah,
early and they just looked all out of sorts. So
yeah,
unfortunately, and again, I would say the same thing if it was Juve. And I have in the beginning of like so far this season, I've said it's like when we come out and we look like crap, like you don't deserve anything. You don't deserve a tie. You don't deserve a win. So in this case with Atalanta, same thing. Like there's no excuse. You shouldn't be losing 2-1 to Bruges. You should be beating this team, especially with the form that they've been in Serie A. Yes, Bruges is a good team. I'm not discrediting them, but if we're being serious here, we know how good Atalanta's been this year. They should have won this game, or at least had the penalty not affect the outcome. So I think for me that's the biggest problem and the biggest issue that I have is yes, was it a PK or no, was it a PK? Shouldn't matter in the sense that if Atalanta came prepared to play, they would have won this game, and whether the penalty happens or not might not have affected the scoreline. In this case, it's affected the scoreline because they end up losing on that goal. But they didn't play well, and they're going to obviously need a big second leg now to try to get through. But it's a one goal advantage for Bruges, so all they have to do is get a couple of goals in the next game, right? So we'll have to just wait and see.
well, I think Atalanta was smashed him because Gasperini was really upset. He said he was going like this to the coach, and he said, "This is not football. It is a. Uh, I don't understand the rules anymore."
Yeah.
But I hope Gasperini teach them a lesson because yes, Bruges has been great, but I see them. They got pretty lucky going through. If you ask me, then I could be wrong. I don't see them a team. You know, can expand. So
Yeah.
then Atalanta can win, but not Milan. We're going to touch on Milan. I agree with this one, but there's somebody here won't agree with me. I think we'll go through as well. Pasquale versus Verona San Siro. Okay, Paisa, Anthony, I love you, everything whatsoever. We're going to go on with the Milan and Feyenoord, but before that, there's this new Pasquale. As long as there's a few Italians team after the playoffs, I'm all good. What's up, Pasquale? You're new here. Huh.
Yeah, I was going
Grande.
to ask you, do you know, do they need all three teams to go through for the fifth spot, or is it just one, or is it two? Do we know
I
exactly?
I'm not too sure.
Hmm.
Uh, I know this guy, Pasquale Grande. Uh, let's say Pasquale Simonetta. Do we need three to go through, or I think two? Not too sure, uh,
I'm curious to
but
know. Just
before,
yeah.
well, Pasquale Simonetta should know, or the guys in the chat. Do you know if it's two or three? Uh,
Hmm.
Mirko Sin, I think it depends about Roma. Okay.
Yeah, well, because the Europa League and Conference League will also dictate. We lost
We
it.
lost
Hmm.
spot for the race for fifth, so we don't have it. I
Right
think I
now,
think after the
no.
playoffs,
Right
well,
now,
yeah, but after the
no.
playoffs,
It will depend, I think, on if either one,
I
two, or all three.
or
I don't know if it's
three.
all three
Okay,
have to get through,
at
but
this
obviously,
moment, no.
if they all get through, then obviously that helps, right? So you gotta
Yeah.
hope that they all get in.
So before I go to Milan, Bruges gonna use formation 9-1. Gasperini and the players have to play like penguins. Gasperini knows how to play, not like your boy Limon Inzaghi. Please calm down. As of today, we are third. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I know Anthony's going to get prepared what I got to say about Milan and Feyenoord. Guys, Milan Feyenoord, I am sorry for you fellow Milanisti, è stato una cagata. Milan, they play like crap, starting from Leao. Uh, what's that Portuguese name? Felix. Teo Hernandez. Like, you guys got all these players, okay, and can't manage to beat Feyenoord. Feyenoord, if they're gonna pass through, it's been like the first time after 51 years. And
Hmm.
all I'm in here from the Milanisti, oh, we're gonna make it through. It's Conceição's fault. We have a top team and this and that. Guys, you guys have the top good players. You guys made a good mercado, but let's be real, man. I know everybody was hyped up because you guys beat Inter whatsoever, but something's fishy. I know we're kind of in a little bit in the same situation Juventus Milan, the Società fa cagare whatsoever. Maybe it comes down to the players, but this is not Milan. And for me personally, I don't think you guys are going to make it through. I know Pasquale touched on today on Facebook. He's going to go through. Anthony says they're going to go through because San Siro, it's a different vibe, this and that. But as what I'm seeing how they're playing and their wins, they've been lucky. Lucky, you can be so lucky. Uh, like Pasquale is just saying here, the Fantastic Four will redeem themselves. I don't think so, Pasquale. I'm sorry. It's toxic, and they let themselves. Leo and Harness are the one issue.
Hmm.
Yeah, but even the new players too. Chikwazi, like what kind of player is that? There's so much to talk about Milan. Well, bring it on, guys. Leave the comments what you think about Milan. Anthony, say your thoughts, then I'll let the chat go world wild.
Yeah, they're a funny team because they definitely started off strong and benefited from the Conceição hiring. So for me, it looked really good in the beginning when he came in, but I think now his strong personality is kind of showing, and it's not really mixing or jiving well with the players. We even saw it towards the end of the Mercato. Okay, say what you will about a guy like Morata, but gets rid of Morata, gets rid of Calabria. Yeah, they bring in Joao
Yeah.
Felix, they bring in Kyle Walker, really good players, but he obviously has a strong personality. And I think for me, with the way that the players are now, I find those coaches, they don't have a long shelf life. And the problem is because today's player, they don't like to get told, you suck, you got to play harder, this and that. He starts yelling at the players. Today's player is more soft, unfortunately, and they have to be talked to in a certain way. Otherwise, they're not going to respond. So if it's true that there is issues in the locker room, then that's a problem, and that's going to show on the field. For me, I still have faith that they will actually get through because it's only 1-0 scoreline. And yeah, both Milan and Atalanta play at home next week. That's big. Whereas we go on the road. So it's going to be tough for us, but I like us on the road. We actually play better away from Allianz Stadium. But as for Milan,
Yes.
I think personally they've still got the quality of players there that they should turn it around and get through. But in terms of how far they go, and for example, they're, I believe, 7th right now in the standings in Serie A, behind
Yes.
Bologna and behind us, right? We're in 5th, Bologna
Yes.
6th, and they're 7th.
I'll double check. Yeah.
Sorry, and Fiorentina. So anyway, my point is, for them to make top 4 is going to be
Milan 7,
really
yeah.
difficult, I think. So I can see them getting through this playoff, and then who knows in the round of 16, because they're either going to play Inter or they're going to play Arsenal. Same with us. We get either one of those teams, right? But I think they do have enough to get through this playoff. But I could be wrong. But that's going to depend on how serious the issues are. If there's actually really bad issues in the locker room, that can play a factor.
Well, they said they had issues with Fonseca. I know with Conceição, you don't want to screw around because that guy, he argued with Calabria, he's out. Morata is out. Now there's Pasquale. He has some points here. There was a hold back from the old guard. They all got dragged in the toxic circle, and there are picture where you see Hernandez and Leo not listening to Fonseca. Okay, then number 3 he puts. Then you start not listening to Fonseca, and then they got him fired. Then come Conceição. The players don't listen to the coach, probably. If they thought Fonseca was hard, Conceição will be harder. Bravo. Maybe it's the problem with the dressing room, Mr. Lafleur. No matter who the coach is, in the self-motivation has been the consistent theme for our season. I don't blame it on culture or tactics. Bravo, because there's a lot of Milanisti, and they'll blame it only on the coach. Now, I understand you got new players, you got the gel. Now, Anthony said a good point, which Mr. Mario said. You said a good point. But I don't know what to say, man. This, my thoughts about Mina, because my mom is a Milanista. She's not really happy, so I want her to see happy, like most of them, the good Milanista. Because I got some friends, they message, "Oh, we're gonna win. We're gonna win the Champions League, big, boom, boom." Same old delusional how some fans live, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Me personally, I don't think they're gonna go through, but maybe Anthony and the boys here are right. They might go through because the way they're playing, my friend, I don't really like it. But I could be wrong. All the best on them, I guess.
Yeah, we'll find out, which is always the fun part, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about how they show up next week on the field. So I just think for them specifically, being at home is a big factor. Even for Atalanta, Atalanta's a different team at home, so I really do think that it's going to benefit them. Whereas the flip side for Juventus, same thing. At
Yeah, because
home,
outside home,
not so good. Away
una
from
caca.
home, much better, much better. So again, just depends with Milan and Juve specifically. It depends which team's going to show up. But I think, like I said, they have enough quality, more quality than Feyenoord that they should get through.
Okay, to close it up with the Champions League, at the moment, England and Portugal have 5 teams going to Champions League.
Mm,
Italy is third, but really close to Portugal. We just have to wait and see at the playoffs.
yeah.
Now, sorry, I know this is a topic that everybody is waiting for. Let's close up the Champions League whatsoever. Three Juventus versus Inter. I can wait. Can you, Anthony? Are you ready for this game or 50-50?
Yeah, so it'll start to really hit me probably by the end of the day tomorrow, Saturday morning. So about a day before the game is usually when I start to really get ramped up and excited. Um, you know, it's funny because these games always are meaningful. They're always special. You know, it's a rival. We want to win. But because of the
Oh
way that
boy.
this season's gone, I'll be honest, this is just my feeling. I'm not as, how do you say? I have mixed feelings. I'm kind of just,
50-50.
I'm just in the middle. Like I'm not too excited, but I'm not worried. I'm just literally just because again, I can't stress that I don't know which Juve is going to show up. And for
That's the
me,
thing.
I was saying this the other day to the guys at our club in Toronto, and I said the problem with this Juventus is that yes, they've only lost one game, well, two, one league, one Champions League. In those two games and in all the draws, for me, Juventus beat Juventus. So yes, we drew the game, but I still feel like we let ourselves down. We didn't play like we should. In the games we've won, majority of the games we won, not all, because even last game we didn't necessarily do enough per se to win, but they got the job done. But in majority of the games they've won, they've been the better team. That's usually how it goes. So for me, it's all about, is this Juventus team going to beat themselves? Are they going to allow the pressure to get to them and the moment to become too big? Right? That's the thing for me. I really want to see this. For me, this could be a statement win in the sense that, not that they're going to go on and win the Scudetto, but if they beat
No,
Inter
no,
on
no.
Sunday, for
Mentally.
me, if they beat Inter on Sunday, it's a guarantee they'll win on Tuesday against PSV, because this is something that can really push them over the top to say, okay,
Yeah, mentally.
feel good about ourselves. We just beat a team that we have not beaten, what, 2 years? When was the last time we beat Inter? I don't even think we beat them last year. It's going back 2
No,
years.
I
I think
think
it was
last time with Pirlo.
no
Allegri
Allegri. I think, but
Allegri
maybe
won.
the
Yeah,
season,
Allegri
the first season or the
with
second season.
Fagioli. Yes, the
Yeah.
second season with Allegri.
So
When
it's been
Fagioli
at least
scored and yeah.
it's been at least 2 seasons. Now, I know everybody's thinking about the first game. It was a wild game. 4-4, back and forth, yield is beautiful. So we have to see. But again, I know with Inter too, like they might have some injuries. Depends if these guys are going to make the roster, if they're healthy or not. Thuram, Bastoni, and Di Marco are all questionable. Game time decision. We'll see. We have our own injuries, so no excuses. Whoever's playing, they gotta, both sides. They gotta pick up their socks and they gotta play. So we'll see. I'm not too excited one way or the other, but I'm also not fearful of the match. I think personally, similar to what Pasquale said earlier, I think it's going to be a draw. That's my gut feeling. 1-1, most likely draw, because whenever we play each other, besides the last game, that was an anomaly. That never happens where they score more than 2-3 goals each side. It's always low scoring. So for me, I think it's going to be a draw 1-1. I just hope that no funny business, no referee, bad call for either team. I want to see a nice, clean game where
I want to see a nice clean game too.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like each
Go
team, they
ahead,
can
sorry.
have some fouls, they can whatever, but No funny business. No VAR, questionable, this and that. Because for me, that takes away from the game. I want to see both teams at their best and duke it out and see what happens. And if we come out on top, great, that's fantastic. But like I said, these two teams like to feel each other out. Mota especially, he knows Inzaghi's going to want to sit back and try to hit us on the counterattack. So it's up to Mota to see, is he gonna push this team ahead and try to press, try to get the ball back, try to expose them a little bit. We'll see.
As our boy Severino says, Mota needs to get this team in check. Yes, 100%. With regards to me about this Inter game, I always get excited no matter what because, I have Interisti here now. Pasquale is a good one. Maya Protestio, not too bad, but he kind of pissed me off, which is fun because he says the refs has to be good. Well, buddy, they have to be good because you guys with Fiorentina, that wasn't really good. I'm sorry. I know Pasquale's going to attack me, but hey, with you guys, anything can accept. But what kind of Juventus we're going to see? All I want that this Juventus put in the fucking Grinta juice. No more excuses. That's what I want to see. Because I don't want to go to the Italian center with the Juventus club. Then I got to have my fellow Interisti attacking me, my so-called friends. Then I'm just going to either punch them out or I don't know what's going to happen. Because I can't. It's been years. That's all I've been here. At least we're ahead of you. At least all I care about being in Juventus. Yeah, whatever. I always said it's tough for me to see, to say. I always said the Inter is a tough team. They have their ups and downs, but of course, with a little help of the ref, I can say. But I don't want to get into much the refs. See you guts, buddy. Stati calmo, okay? If we win, I'll tag you on Instagram, and you're not gonna like it, buddy. Are you gonna be okay with the tie? Not really. You, Anthony?
No, I always want to win, but when these two teams play, it's always very tight. And
It's
for
a
me,
tight, yeah.
a draw is always most likely outcome. But like I said, that being said, as much as Inter needs this win to stay with Napoli,
And we need a win.
they would be fully content with a draw. They're going to be okay with a draw. For us, we need all the points we can get. And like I said,
Yeah,
for
to stay.
how the season has been so far, we definitely wouldn't have never predicted where we are right now. Like, I thought we would be further ahead. I thought we would be top 4, trying to compete for first.
Yeah.
Not going to win.
Same.
I never said in the beginning that we were going to win the Scudetto this year. Malta's
No,
first year.
I agree with you.
I always felt like they would be competitive for top 4 and trying to challenge for the title. That's not happening, but they're still right there. So for me, this could be a big statement for Juve winning this game if they can get it done. But to answer the question, no, I wouldn't be okay with a tie, but if it happens, it happens. What are you going to do? I obviously always want to win, especially these games. These games more than any are the ones I want to win the most.
We got Pasquale as a Napoli fan, and it's hard to say this for me. You need to beat Inter. I know. Last time Interisti said it's hard to say they wanted us to win, which when we lost with Napoli, I got in shit from my friends. So what can I do? Well, I'm not saying that we're gonna win. I have a tough feeling myself because as we played, I don't know. Hopefully, I see a different Juve. But let's let the best one win. Then either you're going to see me getting pissed off or I give a nice io godo a casa Inter.
Well, to kind of pick up on what Pasquale says, the only thing is, as a Juventus fan, I know full well you got to worry about the team that you're playing. So Lazio is not going to be a pushover. So Napoli's got to be careful, especially after last week. I was very surprised with that scoreline when they drew Udinese. So Conte's starting to kind of lose his mind a bit. He's not too happy over there. The wires are starting to cross a bit. So it's going to be a big one for Napoli. So
tying Inter isn't as bad as tie versus Venezia at home. Okay, Pasquale. Uh,
Yes,
you
that's
lost.
true.
You lost with the Fiorentina. So silenzio. Don't even start with me. Who else they lost? With Milan, you lost the La Coppa del Nono, your famous Coppa, after 3 years. Do you want to talk about it, Pasquale? Don't look at our ties, okay? Look at yourself. Anyways, let's close up the predictions before I get a little bit high up. Guys, predictions on the way. We go on the top teams Saturday, the 15th. Okay. Atalanta, Cagliari. I'm going for 2-0 for Atalanta. You,
The way this Atalanta team's been playing, if Retegi's gonna play, he's gonna probably score another 4 goals, maybe. No,
4 goals. Yeah.
I'm gonna say 3-0, 3-0
3
Atalanta.
0. I say
Yeah.
2. Then Lazio Napoli. I know Pascal has already said his piece. I think Lafleur said his piece. Where's Lafleur? He said Juve Inter 2-2, Lazio 1-1. Pasquale said 2-1. We lost Fiorentina away, not at home. Sure, buddy. Yep, yep, yep. Keep crying. Uh Lazio, I don't know. This is tough, man. I'll give it 2-0 Napoli because they tied the two last games. So
Yeah, I don't know. This Lazio team, they're funny. I just don't see how they can manage to even get a draw out of Napoli. But that being said, like I was saying earlier, they're catching Napoli at a good time right now. That's for sure. Because they're not playing as strong as they have been throughout the season. Haven't They've been more consistent earlier on. So I'm gonna say 2-1 Napoli.
2-1 Napoli.
Yeah.
Mirko says 3-0. Napoli play high. He says 2-1.
Hmm.
Then of course, Raf, he's a Lazio fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know about this Lazio. They've been up and down, right? Yes, they beat Monza 5-1, but let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. So Milan Verona. I'm sorry for you, fellow Milanisti, because I've been having upsets with some Milanisti. I'm gonna go 1-0 for Verona. Sorry,
Oh
mom.
wow.
Sorry,
Okay.
Anthony Flair, but yeah. What about you, Anthony?
I think no, Verona stink, man. There's no way they're gonna win 2-0.
Yeah.
2-0 Milan, I think. Yeah, Verona's bad, man.
You're on home. It's a must get 3 points.
Must win, yeah.
Yeah, I say 1-0 Verona because based how you're playing, I know you guys are playing in home, right? Milan, yeah. So
Yeah.
it should be a must win. Good luck, I guess. I don't want to be negative, but 1-1, Mirko. Then let's go to our game. Juventus Inter. I'm gonna go for a tie, Anthony. As much I want to see them winning, but I don't know. You?
Yeah, again, we need to win these games. Like nothing
Yeah.
drives me more crazy than playing Inter, Napoli, losing or drawing. I want to win every time we play them. But the way this season's gone so far, the inconsistency that Juve's shown, for me, this game's got 1-1 written all over it.
We'll leave at 1-1.
Yeah.
We'll see. All I want to see a good game with Inter. So, guys, I'm gonna close it up with Pasquale's comment. If Verona beats Milan, I will do what
Oh,
Aguero did after Hell beat Anthony. I don't know what happened there, but yeah. Oh, Mirko, Juve 2, Cardboard 0. I hope so. And we have another one. Juve
uh,
2, Inter 0. They won into the
let's
lose.
hope.
Well,
Let's
let's
hope.
hope. I'm going for a tie. So, guys, thank you all so much. We have 5 likes. I hope to see more likes and more subscription. Thank you for all the support, Anthony. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Unfortunately, your cousin seems like he's busy, so you couldn't come. Hopefully, to have him next week.
Yep. No
Please do me
worries.
a favor, everyone. Like and subscribe. You can follow Anthony at the HSC, the whole Juvecast, of course. And I haven't been doing a live last week. I know most of you want to see me live, so I hope to do a live next week. And oh yeah, I'll be doing live the day after Juve Inter. That I gotta do. We'll see if Anthony can come or I can bring some guests. Until then, okay, we got some good, great live, buddy. Thank you so much. Night, guys. Pasquale, venga migliore, però forza Juve a casa Inter. E io godo. Great live, guys. Anthony, always the best. Good luck on you and good luck on everybody, the Napoli fans, Interista, and whatsoever. Until then, bada bim, bada boom. 1 second. Ciao, ciao, e arrivederci. Ciao.